Picture this for a second. You roll up to your car, plug it in, walk inside to grab a coffee, and by the time you've taken a couple of sips, the thing is basically full. No standing around a parking lot for half an hour. No doing nervous math in your head about whether you will make it home when it is cold out. That is not a someday promise or a slick concept video. BYD is shipping this right now, and the way they pulled it off is honestly a little wild. They did not just build a better battery, they threw out the battery pack entirely and turned the car's own body into the battery. If that sounds backwards, stick with me because by the end of this, I think you will see why it might be one of the smartest engineering moves anyone in the car world has made in years. And if you are the kind of person who loves a story where one weird idea quietly flips the whole industry on its head, do yourself a favor and tap subscribe right now so the next one lands in your feed. Alright, let me show you what is actually going on here. The dead weight nobody talks about here is the part of electric cars that does not get said out loud enough. For years, the standard recipe was simple. You build a normal car body, then you take a big, heavy battery pack, put it in its own metal box, and bolt that box underneath the floor. It works. It is also kind of dumb when you really look at it. That pack can weigh hundreds of kilos, and for the most part, it is just dead weight. It sits there doing nothing for the structure of the car. It does not make the body stiffer. It does not help in a crash in any clever way. It is just heavy cargo you're hauling around everywhere you go. And that dead weight has a cost. It eats into your range, it makes the car heavier than it needs to be, which hurts efficiency and handling. It forces designers into awkward compromises because they have to package this giant box and still leave room for people. So you end up with the stuff every EV owner quietly complains about. Real-world range that falls short of the sticker, charging stops that drag on for 30 or 40 minutes, and a car that gets noticeably worse the second winter shows up. The whole approach was begging to be rethought. BYD just happened to be the company sitting on exactly the right history to do it. From a workshop outside Shenzhen to a battery empire. To get why BYD could do this when nobody else did, you have to rewind to 1995. A chemist named Wang Chuanfu borrowed money from his cousin, gathered about 20 people in a small workshop outside Shenzhen, and started making rechargeable batteries for mobile phones. That is it. No cars, no grand car company, just a guy who understood battery chemistry betting that the phone boom would need a lot of cells. He was right. Within a few years, they were one of the biggest battery makers on the planet, and the name BYD, which stands for Build Your Dreams, started showing up in supply chains for the big handset brands. The cars came later in 2003 when Wang bought a struggling car company and basically taught himself the auto business from the inside. And this is the thing I keep coming back to. BYD did not start as a car maker that later figured out batteries. It started as a battery company that later figured out cars. That order matters more than it sounds because it means batteries were never an afterthought bolted onto a car. They were the whole point from day one, the blade that changed the conversation now, while most of the industry was chasing higher energy density and quietly walking away from lithium iron phosphate or LFP. BYD did the opposite. They doubled down on it. LFP gives up a little range compared to the fancier nickel chemistries, but in exchange you get a battery that is far safer, lasts way longer, and costs less to build. BYD looked at that trade and decided safety and cost were worth fighting for. Then in 2020, they reinvented the format itself with what they called the Blade Battery. Instead of stacking a bunch of chunky cells inside modules inside a pack, they made the cells long, flat, and thin, almost like blades, and packed them straight in, side by side, no bulky module casings wasting space. The space savings were huge. And to prove the safety claim was not just marketing, they ran the brutal nail penetration test, where you drive a nail straight through a charged cell to force a short circuit. Most batteries catch fire, or worse. The blade barely flinched, no fire, no smoke. They have even shown demonstrations of fully loaded trucks rolling over a blade pack without it failing. Wang Chuanfu said the goal was to erase the word spontaneous combustion from the EV dictionary, and honestly, that confidence was earned, when the battery becomes the skeleton. So that is the setup, here is the leap. Once your cells are already flat, strong, and packed into a neat slab, a wild question opens up. Why does this slab need to live inside a separate box that bolts to the floor? What if the slab just is the floor? That is cell-to-body technology, and BYD put it into a production car, the Seal, back in 2022. The top cover of the battery becomes the actual floor panel of the cabin. The cells, the cover, and the tray form a single sandwich that is part of the car's skeleton, not a backpack strapped to its belly. And the numbers this unlocks are the fun part. Torsional rigidity on the Seal jumped to around 40,000 Newton meters per degree, which is the kind of stiffness you usually hear quoted for proper sports sedans. BYD reported a roughly 70% bump in torsional stiffness and a big jump in bending stiffness too, because the battery is now carrying load. Side pillar intrusion in a crash dropped by about 45%. The car sits lower, the center of gravity drops, and you get a near perfect 50-50 weight balance. So you simultaneously get better handling, better safety, more interior space, and less weight, all from deleting a box. That is the rare engineering change where there is basically no downside for the driver, and I love it when something is that clean. 600 miles, a 5-minute charge, and cold mornings. Now stack the latest battery tech on top of that structure and things get genuinely silly in a good way. With the second generation Blade Battery, BYD is pushing flagship models past 1,000 kilometers of range on China's test cycle, which is north of 600 miles. The Yangwang U7 is rated at just over 1,000 kilometers, the Denza Z9 GT a bit more. Even discounting for optimistic test cycles, that is a real-world long-distance car, not a city runabout. Then there is charging, which is the headline that made my jaw drop a little. BYD's new flash charging system runs a single connector at up to 1,500 kilowatts. In plain terms, the latest cars can go from 10 to 70% in about 5 minutes and to nearly full in around 9. That is not EV charging anymore, that is gas station speed. And the cold weather story, which is usually where EVs fall apart, got fixed too. In testing at minus 30 degrees, a 20 to 97% charge takes about 12 minutes, only 3 minutes slower than at room temperature. If you have ever watched your range evaporate on a freezing morning, you understand how big that is. Why legacy car makers could not pull this off. So the obvious question is, if this is so clearly better, why did the big established automakers not do it first? And the answer comes back to that 1995 origin story. Most car makers buy their cells from outside suppliers, then design a car around whatever pack they are handed. They control the body, but not the chemistry. BYD controls the entire chain, from the lithium and the cathode material all the way to the cell shape, the pack, the body stamping, and final assembly. When you own every link like that, you can make the battery and the body talk to each other and get designed as one thing instead of two strangers meeting at a bolt. That vertical integration is the real secret weapon here more than any single spec. It is also why they can keep costs down, with the newer battery reportedly running about 15% cheaper to build than the first generation. Cheaper, safer, longer range, faster charging, stiffer body. Pick any two and most companies would call it a win. BYD went and grabbed all of them at once, and they did it by refusing to treat the battery as a part you buy rather than a thing you master. So, is the battery pack actually dead? Here is my honest take. The bolt-on battery box, the way we have built EVs for over a decade, is starting to look like a stepping stone we are finally ready to leave behind. Turning the body into the battery is not a gimmick. It attacks weight, safety, range, charging, and cost all at the same time, which almost never happens. In engineering, there are real questions left to answer, like how you repair and recycle a car where the battery is the floor, and those matter. But the direction is clear, and watching one company connect battery chemistry to body design this tightly is genuinely exciting to me. If you found this as interesting as I did, do me a quick favor and smash that like button. It really does help more than you would think. And hit subscribe so you're here for the next deep dive, because the EV world is moving fast and there is a lot more worth unpacking. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I will catch you in the next one.